Hey guys, Dan here with Pain Free You. This video going to talk about avoidance versus acceptance. So, what is it that you are avoiding? What emotions are you avoiding? What physical movements are you avoiding? What situations in life are you avoiding? Right? Because let's talk about avoidance. And if you recall, I don't know, a couple of weeks back, I did a video on safety. And the entire, I'll say TMS, distraction, pain, stress, illness stuff is all about safety. The less safe you feel, the stronger your symptoms are. The more safe you feel, the less symptoms and pain you feel. And so as it comes to avoidance, we avoid things because we think that'll keep me safe. If I avoid going out in the garden and moving my body, that'll keep me safe. If I avoid going back to work, that will keep me safe. If I avoid meeting up with friends because I'm socially awkward around them, that will keep me safe. If I avoid a serious discussion with my spouse, that will keep me safe because then I won't have the negative emotional reaction to that. So avoidance is something that we tend to take on as a protection mechanism. What do I need to do to protect myself? There's just a big deer in the back. So avoidance is a big strategy that we've used. It's a coping mechanism to say, well, if I do this, it hurts. If I eat this food, I hurt. If I do whatever, if I sit down for too long, it hurts. If I walk too far, it hurts. If I stand still too long, it hurts. So we avoid. And here's the challenge with that. By avoiding the things that we believe are dangerous or bad or will hurt us more, all we're really doing is confirming to the brain that these things are in fact dangerous. And all that does is reinforce and condition you to have these symptoms or pains when you do those certain things, where it conditions you that, well, last time I was out with some friends, it was socially awkward, I didn't feel good enough, I felt a little bit left out, and I came home and my pain flared, so I'm going to avoid doing that. And by sitting home next time they get together, you are confirming to your brain that those things are dangerous and that you can't handle going out and socializing, or you can't handle the emotion of uncertainty or feeling a little bit socially awkward. And so avoidance is a big deal. You know, you don't want to avoid all these things that you have concluded or decided are unsafe or not good for you. So what's the opposite of that? Acceptance. Accept the fact that you may go out with some friends and you may feel a little bit awkward, right? Prove to yourself that you can do these things. Prove to yourself you can walk for a while. Yes, you may be uncomfortable. Yes, you may hurt a little bit. But if you sat home and avoided these things, you're probably going to hurt anyway. So you may as well send the right signal to your brain and say, okay, avoidance confirms that I'm fragile, easily broken, I hurt easy, I can't handle social situations, I can't handle negative emotions, I'm going to avoid sadness, so I'm going to push them away, I'm not going to allow myself to get sad, avoid. All we're doing is kind of just reconfirming to the brain that, yeah, you can't handle this stuff, you're fragile, you're easily broken, you're easily scared, these emotions are dangerous, and you're kind of reinforcing this negative belief that you can't handle it. And so avoidance is something that you want to avoid. Right? You want to avoid avoiding things. You want to embrace and accept whatever it is. If you've got a family thing going on this week for Thanksgiving, if you're here in the United States, it's probably better to go and have some pain than avoid it and sit home upset that you're missing out and then feeling like I can't even go to Thanksgiving family events. and then feeling sorry for yourself because you can't participate because you've got the pain, but you avoided going because you thought you would hurt. So I say sometimes make the best of it. Decide you're going to go have fun anyway. Don't give a crap about the pain or the symptoms. Look, you're going to hurt anyway sitting home, and avoiding doing things is just going to reinforce the fact that you're fragile, easily broken, scared, can't handle it, all that stuff. So acceptance is the opposite. And whatever you get, you get. Avoiding things, resisting it, making believe that you're not in pain doesn't help. Notice it, right? You know, people are like, I can't ignore my pain. Nobody, I never told you that. I'll never tell you to ignore your pain. But I will tell you to choose your response to it. And to choose the whatever, I'm going to go live my life anyway approach, as opposed to the avoidance approach. We can avoid so many things in life, and over time we just accumulate more and more and more things that we can't do, and our life shrinks more and more and more until it's this little tiny sliver of what our life used to be. And it all comes from trying to avoid things to keep ourselves safe. So all I will suggest to you is avoidance will just continue to shrink your life smaller and smaller and smaller. And it doesn't necessarily keep you safe. Instead, if you avoid going out with friends, now you are left at home by yourself in the story of, should I have gone? Maybe I shouldn't have gone. I don't think I would have been able to take, a conversation with them where I felt left out. Oh, I can't handle that. I'm good. I'm glad I stayed home, but boy, I'm hurting anyway. And all you're doing is shrinking your life through avoidance. And there are certain times when kind of stretching the comfort level is really required to prove to yourself you can handle things. You can handle negative emotions. You can handle a challenging conversation with your spouse. You can handle a little bit farther walking than you're used to, and then realizing I'm no worse off for it. And if you can take the approach that you're indifferent to the pain or the symptoms, you're going to get much better, much quicker. Do the emotional discovery. All these emotions are safe. They're okay. They're meant to be felt. If you avoid the emotions, that's kind of what got us in trouble in the first place, right? This repression, this unresolving these emotions by pushing them away and resisting them and not wanting to feel these emotions. That's why we've got symptoms in the first place, because all those unresolved emotions are just being carried around. And that's why we're in trouble in the first place, because we're resisting a key component of the human condition, which is feeling emotions. So, avoidance versus acceptance. I'm going to suggest to you that avoidance will shrink your life and make it smaller and smaller. And we do it because we think we're keeping ourselves safe. But invariably what we're doing is just reinforcing the belief that we can't handle life, we can't handle movement in our bodies, we are frail, we're easily broken. And I will tell you through my own personal experience, avoiding physical movement never got me better. It just kept me more miserable, missing out on life, missing out on things that I could have and should have done, as opposed to just shrinking. So many people shrink and become bedbound, and because they're so worried about protecting themselves. And I'm not criticizing or judging in any way, shape, or form anybody who's gotten their symptoms so severe that they're bedbound or homebound. But avoidance is maybe how you got there. And by reinforcing constantly this belief that, wow, I can't sit down. I can either stand or lay down, so I'm never going to sit down at all because it hurts. You're basically reinforcing this belief in this program, this subconscious program that says sitting down hurts. And so just kind of double check and say, what is it that I'm avoiding? Maybe even write out a list. What is it that I'm avoiding? Why am I avoiding it? Is it a safety thing? Am I trying to keep myself safe from something socially, emotionally, physically? And then check how accurate that statement is. Am I truly safer by not leaving the house than if I did leave the house? Or am I just worried about being a little bit awkward because I hurt and I'm wincing a little bit? My family might see that I'm hurting, and then I've got to get into an explanation about what's going on. No, you don't. Just say, hey, I got too much stress. My body's been hurting me. Would rather not talk about it. How are you? Turn it around. Get off the subject of you and your pains and your symptoms. As we know, talking about our symptoms and our pains doesn't help. So, what do you guys think? Are you avoiding things in your life? Are you avoiding emotions? Are you avoiding social situations? Are you avoiding difficult conversations? Are you avoiding physical movements, body positions? Are you avoiding leaving the house for certain things because you fear that you will have an episode, right? What type of avoidance are you having? Write that list out. What am I avoiding and why? And is the why actually true, or is it just all completely fear and anxiety based of thinking and expecting the worst? But again, remember, avoidance, all that does is kind of reaffirms and reconfirms and reinforces this belief that you can't handle it. You can't handle it physically, can't handle it emotionally, can't handle it socially. And so shrink, 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 your life becomes, a fraction of what it used to be. So take a good hard look at what are you avoiding. And you may just find that a little at a time, you can start taking a little bit more chances, getting out of your comfort zone. If you want to avoid something, say, well, let me just see how it goes. And I'm going to try this. Then you're going to realize you're no worse off than you were before. So, avoidance. I would tell you to lean more towards acceptance. Whatever happens, happens. If I go out and I'm socially awkward and my pain flares a little bit, oh well, I don't care. At least I enjoyed some time with some friends instead of sitting at home feeling like a victim, feeling miserable, and shrinking my life more and more each day. So I love you guys and gals. No judgment here. No criticism. But we all do this. We all tend to do this. And even in my last bout of back pain, a month and a half, 2 months ago, I started to avoid doing things. There was an immediate tendency to stop doing things because it would hurt. And I had to literally kind of push myself through that resistance to doing these things and push through that avoidance tendency or coping mechanism. So I will encourage you to push through the desire to avoid something to keep yourself safe, because inevitably avoiding things doesn't necessarily keep you safe, and most often reinforces the belief that you're frail, broken, can't handle the social situations, can't handle the emotions. So the way through is to stop avoiding things and prove to yourself you are capable, you are strong. So hopefully this made sense. Love you guys and gals, and we'll see you in the next video. Talk soon.